when you're doing this fourth task, make sure that before you put in kids on a video, that you have permission from their parents to do so, because you can get into a whole lot of trouble not trying to. And that's one of the things I just say is that send that permission form out. Now I will tell you this: one of the things about what we're doing is that I'd love to see everybody's task number 4. I'd love to see it uploaded and sent to me. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to put it on YouTube and save it and then send me the address so I could hop on and look at it, by March 31st, that way I may be able to give you some feedback, because ETS wants these uploaded by April 9th. Now, April 9th is the Thursday before Good Friday. And I'm sure that you all are thinking by the Thursday before Good Friday, the last thing in the world you are thinking about is the PPAT, because you are going to go home for spring break and you're going to do whatever it is you do. Brandon, I got a funny feeling you have a baseball tournament tied up in spring break.
Very much possible. I'm actually on spring break right now. So.
Oh, okay. So y'all don't play Easter tournaments around that time?
We'll do some stuff around that time, yes, but this is our quote unquote spring break right now.
And then you do what, Good Friday, Easter Monday, and that's it?
Yeah, we'll do Friday and Monday for Easter. Okay. Which is fine with me because I got 7 days out of it. So.
Well, and that's probably a good thing, because this is the university's spring break, so that works out well for you to have this window right now.
Absolutely.
But as far as things are concerned, a couple of things that I just wanted to mention to folks is this: talking about learning goals. We're not just making the video. We're looking at learning goals also for number 4. And one of the things I would tell you is this: not that you want to stage something and make it look contrived, but if your district is a district that asks you all to post pacing guides in classrooms, or curriculum goals that are listed, some school districts are like that. They want you to post something because of the fact that the district feels like it's allowing everybody to know what is going on and what the curriculum is. And if you have something posted like that, it might be beneficial to you when you're doing your lesson that you're doing video on. It might be beneficial to you. Also, I'll say this: this might be a good thing to have in practice while you're doing your video. This might be a good chance to make an anchor chart to kind of lay out what the expectations are, so that they're posted, so that they're your relevant material is there, and they know it's been traced back to something specific with the curriculum. I'm just saying is that if you're into anchor charts, this might be a good time to do an anchor chart during your instruction, okay? Just for that purpose. And like I said, some school districts like to have their pacing guides in every classroom posted. Some school districts like to have what they call action plans posted.
Yeah.
For example, Craven County is real big on doing what's called Baldridge Continuous Improvement. And they have what they call PDSA charts all over the classrooms. And PDSA basically means Plan, Do, Study, Act, okay? We kind of joked around. We would say PDSA was meaning please don't stand around, do something. But anyway, but the long story short about that is that, sometimes when you're required to post something like that in a classroom, that allows for some clarity, particularly when you're videoing something, because of the fact that someone could actually see it on the wall and they know it's there and they know what it's relevant and what it's connected to. I saw someone pop up. LaRonda, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I saw you pop in, and that's why I wanted to just double check. I knew we got a couple of folks who were out doing let's see, we got is that Jamelia? Are you here tonight?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I got Jamelia and I got LaRonda. Okay. I was just checking because I was checking to see who had popped up, because I know some of you all don't have visual because you're either, you know, participating on the phone or you're participating on another device that puts you in a situation where you can't. So anyway, Sylvia, I haven't heard anything from you tonight. Do you have anything you need to ask?
Oh, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you all real quick, did you all go to the PPAT support stuff on the Moodle?
Yes.
Have y'all looked at it yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Now, with the fourth task, I took the elementary school fourth task and broke down the replies and the responses. And the reason why I did that was because, particularly because this is you teaching a lesson, this is also going to kind of help you arrange your lesson as well. You know, for example, you know, the goals and the student background is the same as it was in task number 1. That's not going to change. They're not going to score that part, but they're going to score the other parts, because the reason why they ask you for it all the time is that in case you aren't using the same students, in case you aren't using the same lesson, they want to be able to set the context in which these children are learning. Okay. Now, instructional strategies, one of the things I would suggest to you about instructional strategies, explain what you're doing and explain it as clearly as you can explain it without getting crazy and overly anal about it. Because the reason why I say that is because sometimes what happens is we keep trying to explain and we write ourselves into a hole and we don't ever get it out, and it's kind of hard to tell. But, you know, like I said, make sure that when you do the instructional strategies, and particularly the lesson activities, number one, that the strategies are relevant, but also that the lesson activities, when you get into that fourth task, that those lesson activities do promote student learning, that there is some place we could look at them and figure out what was going on with those things. Because I think that's going to be very, very important. But all things considered, as I'm telling you this, I'm telling you because I want you to take your time.
I ain't hungry.
Okay, Jamelia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I lost connection with somebody who was going in, because it may have been LaRonda. LaRonda, are you still online?
Yes.
Okay, then it wasn't. Someone shot up. I lost connection, so I just wanted to make sure we were fine here. Okay, okay. It was Angela. It was Angela that I lost connection with. Okay. One of the things, it's amazing that with time we still don't have clear connections in some of the rural parts of North Carolina with the internet, but you know, we work on it. But remember something though too, when you're doing your video, I don't know whether you're like this or whether you get nervous when you're doing stuff like this, but particularly if you can be in a situation where you're not having to look at the device that is recording you, you're going to be better if you're concentrating on your kids. That's why I would suggest to you that whoever's going to come in and help you record, get somebody that, number one, the kids are used to seeing, so that they don't try to, you know, spend all their time trying to get that person's attention, particularly with little kids. Little kids, if somebody new is in the picture, you know, that they don't see on a daily basis, that somebody new is in there, they're trying to get the attention of them, regardless of what kind of rules you have in the classroom and regardless of what kind of practices you have. So, you know, try to make sure that whoever's helping you do this, that they're doing this, and those kids are familiar with seeing them. That's a big deal as far as that's concerned, because you want it to be a natural kind of, I guess the best way to put it, a very natural, organic interaction with your students. Okay, when you're doing video with them, you want
How many
them to
students
feel
do we have
good
to have
about it.
on the video?
Well, let me just say this. That was a question that came up in some of the lower elementary grade folks were, you know, they were talking about small groups like guided reading groups. You might have had 3 or 4 people. you know, if you do something like, Brandon, say you have a weightlifting class, and you're doing them, and say there are what, 10 or 12 people in the weightlifting class,
Yes.
that would be fine. That's going to be fine. The one thing I would suggest, though, particularly in something like that where there's a lot of kinesthetic movement, like I said, have somebody there used to seeing in there, because you know, I don't know what it's like, you know, at your school, but I know that, you know, every once in a while you'll get in a class with a group of high school kids, and they, you know, they're just like little kids. They want to show out. They'll do something silly just to see what happens. Hopefully they won't, but you know. But also remember, I will say this, guys. If you are doing this video and the wheels just come off the wagon, there's nothing else you can do about it. They just come off the wagon. My suggestion to you would be this: if you can get everybody back on task, fine, go for it. If you're afraid you can't, don't beat yourself up. Close it down, refocus everybody, and come back and shoot it again, okay? Just don't make yourself miserable trying to show everybody that, you know, number one, you can break up any serious problem, because you know, I'm gonna be honest, you know, middle schools, I've been in middle schools where it didn't take much to get a fight going, okay? It really didn't take much to get a fight going in a classroom. So, you know, like I said, we don't really want to watch a fight, and the people at ETS don't really want to watch a fight. So if you just, you know, if it's just coming off the rails, just don't ruin yourself by, you know, making yourself miserable trying to pull it back. If you can pull it back and get it back on task, that's fine. It may be a really neat thing to do. It might be a really neat thing to do, but more than likely, if it's going off the rails, just shut it down and try again. Okay, you got between now and April 9th to have it ready to upload. Okay.
How directly correlated to our lesson plans in task 2, task 3 does it have to be?
Well, the thing is, and I'll just tell you what the folks with ETS told me. You could do 4 separate things in each of the 4 tasks. It's not wise to do that because of one reason. Because if you're doing 4 separate things, you could overlap something and make a mess of something, you know, because you're not thinking about what you might have done somewhere else, or you could assume you're covering something else that that you haven't already covered. My thing is this: I would try my best. For example, the 2 students you picked for task 2 and task 3, I would try my best with whatever you're doing to keep using those 2 students. Okay.
They're going to be in the block that I would like record myself in naturally.
Yeah.
And so like I would redo it in my first block class because I only had 15 students in there. But we have like a very well-oiled machine in there right now. And so I would feel comfortable literally going in Monday and filming myself going over what we're going to do for the day and like being done. Because I know there's not going to, like, these are all my football players, so I have a good relationship with them. There's not going to be like those crazy outliers on any circumstance because they want to play football. I'm the football coach. So I was just wondering, like, do I need to tailor make that workout specific for what I've talked about in task 2, task 3, or could I just film organically what we're going to be doing on that day?
Well, I'll just say this. Would you feel more comfortable addressing it and adjusting it to what you've already done in task 2 and 3 since they are related to each other?
I mean, I'm really fine with either way. I'm very adaptable on that stuff.
Well,
I just want to make sure I'm turning in like the right things. That's why I'm so hung up on that representative data for the graphics, because I'm like, what data do you want? I'm totally fine with making the pie charts and whatever. I just like, what data do you want? And I'll make it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You said something, and I want you to think about this in relation to data. I want you to think about this in relation to football. Okay. when you guys are doing you're doing your stuff in the weight room, you're keeping track of what these kids are being able to lift, and you're keeping track of what they're doing as far as strength training is concerned, and then you're keeping track when they go out to do 7-on-7 drills, and when they're getting ready to go out and they're getting ready to do the 7-on-7 passing leagues in the summer and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
You got data coming out your ears.
Yeah.
You have data coming out your ears.
Yeah.
So that being said, can you take any of that data you already have, make it relevant to what you're doing, and create your charts out of what you already have?
Absolutely. Like before I left, we did our max on bench press. So I have weeks of max bench press data that I could use to create charts, but my worry was correlating it with the lesson plan, right? To making sure that it was warranted data and not just stuff I was trying to throw in there to appease.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why would you be worried about their max bench press? Why would you be worried about that as a teacher, as a teacher who's teaching physical education? Why would that be important to you?
I would be worried about that because that's one of our ways we track our growth. That is our assessment compared to a vocabulary quiz or an end of chapter test. That is our version of an end of chapter test.
Okay, now are they charting their own data too?
No, we do it all digital. So like, there's 2 teachers in our class, and I have my laptop open with our spreadsheet up that's tracking their maxes, and they enter it into our website. So it calculates like percent gain, percent loss, those things.
Okay. All right. Well, and that being said, I'm gonna send that that web address to you so that you can create those. I mean, this is put together by the United States Department of Education, and to give you an idea, you want a bar graph, simple as it can be. It comes in different colors. You just plug the numbers in, and it makes it for you. I mean, honestly, it's and I'll just say this because I'm not a good technology person. The technology is simple. Okay? I'm not good at tech. I mean, and I'd get stuck having to make charts. And this was actually designed so elementary students could learn how to chart data. And they're actually the ones using it. But I bet you I know 500 teachers who use the same stuff all the time when they have to post their data. So it's not a problem. So I will send it to you guys, and y'all can certainly use it. It's not a problem. I think I might have sent it out the last time I might have sent that email out or that web address out to you all the last time too. But I'll send it out again.
So I guess my question is, do you think recording the maxes in that chart would satisfy that artifact that the PPAT is going to request?
I think it could. I think it could. Now I'm assuming that you've got a baseline where you started.
Yeah.
And you got benchmarks all the way along, and then you had your max, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you should have what? A baseline, probably 2 benchmarks and a max for each of those 15
I would have a baseline so where we are right now, I would have a baseline end of year 2019, baseline start of year 2020, and current effort of 2020.
So you'd have 3 data points for each kid.
Correct.
Yeah, that's simple. You're not going to have a whole lot of problems with that. That's simple. You can make that work, okay? And I would just say this, when you're looking at your data, don't make your data so hard that you can't figure out how you're going to represent it, okay?
Okay.
Because, like I said, heck, you could have had the kids doing this on a bar graph on the wall on a piece of poster board, taking a photo of it, and uploaded the photo, and you'd have been fine too, okay? But the thing is, like I said, one of the things, I worked in a school district where we were real big on people charting their own data. Teachers charted their data, the kids charted their data, and that was one of those things that it just was kind of second nature to everybody in the district. But I'll say this: don't let it beat you up. Don't let it beat you up. If for example, let's say you had your baseline at the end of 2019, then you had one I'd say probably somewhere about the second week of February, and now you've got the max now at this point, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And so probably what you're looking at as far as that is concerned, when you're looking at it, you have 3 data points for each kid. You could actually make a part in there, like for example, look at it statistically that that collectively the class increase, let's say, was better than 50% of the children or the students in the class were able to improve on their bench press by 10 to 20 pounds or whatever. You could come up with something that simple. Okay. Did you all have a target goal that you were shooting for as a group?
No, we didn't have a target necessarily. It was all individual based. Like when we talk about goals, we don't really have a collective goal. Just because of not our formula for success, but how we run our program is not based on necessary collective goals. Collectively, we want to be the best team in the state. So collectively, we all should have the same goal. So what we spend a lot of time doing is breaking down individualistic goals, because if we can get them to be their best individual, then the greater sum of the team will be taken care of. And so essentially, like a kid, like right now, like I want to gain 25 pounds on my max, and that would be his goal on bench, for example. And so it's not necessarily like a classroom goal or a team goal. It's an individual goal.
Okay. But you could also look at it as a percentage as the group. What was the percentage of increase among that class? Were they able to improve their amount of bench press weight by 10% or by 15%?
Correct.
From the time they had their baseline to now. You might find that data out in there, which is just interesting data. But don't beat yourself up and make yourself crazy trying to do something that you don't really have to do. But remember, the data's got to tell the story too. The data's got to tell a story. Don't just throw data in for the sake of data. Make sure that data has something relevant and connected to what you're doing so that it does tell the story. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing I will tell you real quick is I'm assuming, that everybody knows that their focus students they did in 2 and 3 are probably focus students they're going to need to kind of hang on to. And remember, at the end of this thing, you got to reflect on the whole class and then reflect on your 2 students, okay? Don't forget to reflect on the whole class and on the 2 students. And I will say this, if you all want me to do this, and I do not mind doing this at all, if you all will send me your videos, I'll watch your videos and I'll do an assessment of them and send them back to you, just if that'll help you. I don't think we're going to have just tons and tons of problems as long as people don't get in a rush to do it. I mean, the big thing is once 2 and 3 are out of the way tomorrow evening, and like I said, I'm going to go back and say this again. You only have to have 38 of the 60 points. You don't have to have all 60 of them, okay? Write clearly, explain what you're doing, and I don't think anybody's going to have a problem. But just make sure that when you are writing and you are doing the stuff you're supposed to be working on, make sure that you give yourself that opportunity to explain and do well. Don't be in such a rush that you don't get the chance to do it. Because one of the things the ETS people have shared with us is that they are trying in every way possible they can to credit you with what you do right. Okay, it's not so much what you don't necessarily do, but what you do right. And I'm going to tell you, you guys have gone through your coursework. You guys have gone through PPAT. I can't say for certain, but I am going to say this. I really think that if it doesn't all come right up to where it fits right together, and you have to repeat a section, I don't think you're going to be in terrible shape. I don't think they're going to fire you if you don't, get everything the first time. But I will tell you this: at $300 a pop and at $40 a section to retake a section, it's better to try your best to do it the first time, because I don't know about you, but I just don't have. I have a 7-year-old. I don't have $40 to throw around every time something's not right. I mean, I have a 7-year-old. I don't have any money, and believe me. But that being said, just you know, if something comes up and you're really worried about something, you've got a way to get in touch with me. Give me a call. We'll sit down, we'll talk our way through it, we'll figure out what we need to do. One thing I will say is this: is when we're doing the Saturday session on the 21st, if folks who are coming show up with videos, we may take a little bit of time and watch the videos and kind of work our way through some of them, just to see where people are. Because sometimes I'll be honest, it's kind of like with me with reading a paper. If I'm writing something, I'm always going to go find somebody to read it, because I don't trust myself, because my brain is telling me what's on the paper makes perfect sense. Okay. Realistically, I've probably forgotten something because my brain is telling me that it's right. Okay. Kind of the same thing with this process, so, don't trust yourself to catch all your errors on your own. Make sure somebody else watches it with you. Okay. Now we got about a minute or two left here. Does anybody have anything they need to ask about PPAT Task 4? Sylvia, are you okay?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Okay. Let's see who else is out there. LaRonda, are you all right with Task 4?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Jamelia?
Yes.
Okay. Now, like I said, Saturday the 21st, we'll be over in the Henderson building from 9 to 1, unless something happens, okay? Now, I don't know whether you're paying attention to the news, but with this coronavirus thing, some of the state universities have closed classrooms, and they're going strictly online to finish the semester. I don't think that's going to happen at UMO, okay? So we're going to make sure that you all have the opportunity to get, the support work if you need it. So on the 21st, we're going to do something one way or the other. We may be sitting in a McDonald's in Mount Olive, but we're going to be getting that together and getting it squared away, because I'm not leaving you guys hanging out at the last minute trying to figure out what you're doing. Okay. So like I said, you guys, if you need me, you know how to get up with me. Um, we'll work through whatever we got to work through, and we'll get it to where it's a good process, because you want to put in something that is a true representation of how well you teach, and this can be a very big piece of it for you. So anyway, I'm going to let everybody go. I'm going to send recording out, but I'm also going to send out that web address for the making the charts and the and graphs, so that you have them. So I'm going to send that out as soon as we hang up. Okay. You all have a good evening. Call me if you need me. Okay.